I knew I was damned the second I felt my pulse race when my brother-in-law smiled at me. It hit me like a truck. I'm in love with my sister's husband, and I hate myself for it. We were at Sunday family dinner a month ago, everyone around the table. My sister, June, and her husband, Eric, sat across from me, joking about something. Eric made a corny pun. He's full of those. And I laughed. He grinned with those crinkly blue eyes. And suddenly, my heart fluttered. Actually fluttered, like I was a lovesick teenager. I nearly knocked over my water glass. In that split second, everything shifted. I realized something was very wrong with me. Let me rewind. I'm 28, single, and June is 30. She and Eric have been married 3 years. I was her maid of honor. I gave a speech about how lucky she was, even joked. If I find a guy half as great as Eric, I'll be happy. It was just a joke then. I admired him, sure, but only as a brother-in-law and friend. So how the hell did I get here? Over the last year, June's job started sending her on frequent trips. She's a corporate event planner, often away for days. Eric works from home, graphic designer, so he'd be alone with their big goofy Labrador Max. June would ask me to drop by, keep him company. He gets lonely, she'd say. I didn't mind. Eric and I have always gotten along, and I love Max. It started innocently. I'd bring takeout, we'd eat, watch a movie, or play video games. We became casual buddies. I swear, at the start, it was purely platonic on my side, and I'm sure on his too. We'd joke about my terrible Mario Kart skills or argue about whether pineapple belongs on pizza. It does, by the way. Fight me. Then one night, maybe 5 months ago, I found Eric looking really down. He tried to brush it off, but after a beer he admitted he and June had fought before she left that morning. Money issues or something. He was upset they'd parted on bad terms. I remember he said, "I hate that our last words were angry." He looked so miserable my heart ached for him. I scooted closer and put my hand on his shoulder. I told him it'd be okay, that all couples fight, and June adored him. He gave me this grateful look and suddenly pulled me into a hug. Not romantic, just a hug from a hurting friend. I hugged him back, but when he let go, there was this tiny awkward moment. Our eyes met and I felt, I don't even know, warm? Flustered? I went home soon after, a bit unsettled. After that, I started noticing things, like how excited I'd feel when I got a text from him, even something silly, or how I'd catch myself looking forward to our hangouts more than I should. I pushed those thoughts away hard. I even started seeing a guy casually, trying to redirect myself. But those dates fizzled, partly because I kept comparing them to Eric, which is so unfair. I began distancing myself out of fear. I'd make excuses to skip coming over. I thought if I gave myself some space, these stupid feelings would die off. I still saw them both at family events and acted normal. I convinced myself it was just a little crush, nothing serious, and it would pass. Then that dinner happened, and reality slapped me across the face. In the days after, I was a wreck. I avoided hanging out with June and Eric completely. When June invited me over, I lied about work. I barely texted either of them. I'm pretty sure they noticed me pulling back. June actually asked if I was okay, if I was feeling depressed or something, because I seemed off. I just said I was stressed from the hospital. I'm a nurse. And she let it drop. God, the guilt. I feel like the worst sister in the world. June is not just my sister, she's my best friend. We've always told each other everything, until now. Now I have this horrible secret. She trusts me completely. She thinks I was doing her a favor by spending time with her husband, that I'm a good sister and good friend to him. If she ever knew what was in my head, I can't even imagine the betrayal she'd feel. I would rather die than hurt her like that. And Eric? He has no clue, I'm sure. He probably just misses our hangouts and has no idea why I went radio silent. Because it's not like I ever flirted or made a move. I would never. I was careful to always keep things sibling-like. These feelings have been entirely in my messed up head. I've spent so many nights lying awake, screaming at myself internally to stop thinking about him. I replay every sweet thing he ever did for June, reminding myself he loves her, not me. He chose her, and she's amazing. They're perfect together. Thinking anything else is sick. Yet I miss him. I miss our easy conversations and his stupid jokes. And that makes me feel even worse, because I basically ghosted them to avoid crossing a line. So I've not only been a crappy sister, I've been a bad friend. I haven't told a soul about this. I'm too ashamed. I thought about seeing a therapist, but I chickened out. What if they secretly judge me, even if they say they won't? Writing anonymously is the only way I can get this out. Some days I almost convince myself I'm over it. I'll be like, yeah, that was crazy, good thing you got a grip. But then I'll bump into Eric when I visit my parents and my stupid heart will do that flip thing, and I know I'm back to square one. I'm in hell here. Because I can't ever act on this. I would never betray my sister. And I truly mean that. If somehow Eric came to me and said he had feelings, there's zero indication of that, to be clear. I would shut it down and probably exile myself to Antarctica out of guilt. This isn't some fantasy where I think we'll ride off into the sunset. I don't want that. I want him to be happy with June. I just also selfishly want to stop feeling like my world lights up when he's around. The jealousy is the ugliest part. I'm so ashamed of it. But yeah, sometimes I watch them be all cute, like he'll kiss her cheek, or she'll lean on his shoulder when we're watching a movie, and I feel this pang. And immediately I'm hit with, what is wrong with you? That's your sister and her husband. It's twisted. I feel like a monster for even a split second of envy. So what now? Honestly, I'm praying these feelings are just a phase, a product of my loneliness, and that they'll fade if I keep resisting. Maybe I need to find someone else to love. For real, I'm trying. I really am. I re-downloaded a dating app and have been swiping like it's my job. Went on a couple of dates. No sparks yet, but I'll keep at it. Meanwhile, I'm keeping my distance and faking smiles at family gatherings. It's lonely, but it's what I have to do. I guess I'm posting this because I'm suffocating under the weight of it and needed to tell someone, anyone. Maybe someone out there has advice on how to kill an unwanted crush? How do I uproot these feelings and get my life back to normal? Because I can't confess to anyone in real life. Not to my best friend. She's also our cousin. Too close to the situation. Not to my mom, she'd lose her mind. And definitely not to June or Eric. I have to carry this alone. I know I'm a terrible person for falling in love with my brother-in-law. I didn't mean to, but intent doesn't matter. Only actions. I just have to make sure I never ever act on it. And that no one ever finds out. So yeah, that's my disgusting secret. I love him. And it's killing me. TLDR, I'm in love with my brother-in-law and I hate myself for it. I will never act on it, but I can't stop feeling it, and it's tearing me apart. Update 1. Well, I wasn't planning to update, but things kind of blew up on me. It's been a couple of weeks and I did something stupid. I guess you could say this situation went from bad to worse. A lot of people told me to maintain distance. I did. To maybe seek therapy, I haven't yet, or to even consider telling Eric and or June the truth. I wasn't going to tell June, and I had no intention of telling Eric either. But my behavior lately sort of forced a confrontation. Eric noticed me pulling away. We typically text memes or dumb jokes pretty often, and I basically stopped replying except in our family group chat. He also apparently asked June if I was mad at him or something, which of course she had no idea about. So one day he calls me and asks if we can grab coffee and talk. He sounded genuinely concerned, and against my better judgment, I agreed. I thought maybe I could reassure him without revealing anything. We met at a coffee shop we all used to go to. I was so nervous. He looked worried, asking if I was okay, saying I seemed upset lately. I tried to play it off, said I'd been busy and stressed. He didn't buy it. He gently pressed, asking if he did something to make me uncomfortable. Because if so, he wanted to fix it. I was getting emotional, trying to hold back everything. And I told him no, he didn't do anything, it was all me. He kept probing what I meant by that. I felt cornered by his kindness, if that makes sense. I could feel tears coming, and I told him I should go. When I stood up to leave, he reached out and lightly grabbed my wrist, asking me not to go, saying, "Please, talk to me. You're like my sister. If something's wrong, maybe I can help." That just made me break down. I started crying right there in the cafe. It wasn't like loud sobbing, but I couldn't stop the tears. He ushered me out to his car for privacy. I remember he was rubbing my back and saying, "It's okay, I can talk to him." In his car, he asked, "Is it something with work? With dating? Did someone hurt you?" I was shaking my head, trying to think of something, anything to say. He looked so concerned and caring, and it just killed me. Without thinking, I blurted, "I'm the worst sister in the world." He was baffled. I then said, "I messed up, Eric. I can't be around you." He looked completely lost. He said, "Why? What are you talking about?" And then, I don't know, I think he started piecing together the way I was saying it, because his expression changed. In a soft voice, he was like, "Why would you say that? Why can't you be around me?" Our eyes met, and I think mine said it all. I think he knew, or at least he suspected in that moment. I turned away, covering my face, horrified at myself. He was quiet for a second, then he said my name really gently. I felt his hand on my shoulder. I was crying into my hands at this point, mumbling that I was sorry without explaining why. He pulled me into a hug, trying to comfort me, and I lost it. I kissed him. It was like my body acted without my brain. 1 second I was crying on his shoulder, the next my lips were on his. It only lasted maybe 2 seconds before he pulled back, saying, "Whoa," in shock. I immediately realized what I'd done, and I think I said, "Oh God, I'm sorry," like 100 times. I bolted out of his car. He got out too, calling after me, but I just hurried to my own car and drove off, shaking and crying. I've never felt more mortified and disgusted with myself. In that moment, I officially became the thing I feared. A sister who betrayed her own sister. I don't even know what Eric must be thinking or feeling. He hasn't contacted me since it happened. This was 3 days ago. I haven't reached out either. I've been a coward, hiding at home, absolutely sick over it. I'm sure he's struggling with whether to tell June. Knowing him, he probably will, because he's a very honest guy and they don't keep secrets. I'm terrified to face that fallout. I have no idea how to even begin to make this right. There's no making it right, is there? I crossed the one line I swore I wouldn't. Maybe I should be proactive and tell June myself before he does, to take full responsibility. But if I do, I'll destroy their marriage trust, though I guess that's already in jeopardy now because of me, and I'll break my sister's heart and likely lose her forever. If I don't tell her, and Eric does, that'll look even worse for me, like I was hiding it. I've barely slept or eaten. I can't stop replaying that moment. The look on his face. God, I just hope he knows it wasn't his fault at all. This is all on me. I think I have to tell my sister. I can't let her wonder or have half-truths. She deserves to hear it from me, even though she'll hate me. I hate me too. I'll update again, maybe, once I've done it. If she doesn't want to speak to me, that might be a long time from now, or never. I'm so sorry, June. Update 2. Final. She knows. My sister knows everything, and she is absolutely devastated. Because of me. The day after my last update, I tried to reach out to June. I was going to go to her house and tell her the truth, but before I could, I got a text from her. We need to talk. Come over. My stomach dropped. I knew what that meant. Eric had told her. I drove over, shaking like a leaf. When I walked in, Eric was in the living room, looking miserable. June stood there, eyes red and furious. The second I stepped through the door, she said, voice trembling, "Did you kiss my husband?" I could barely croak out a yes before she exploded. She screamed at me and then started sobbing. I tried to blurt out how sorry I was, how it was all my fault, how I initiated it, and Eric pulled away immediately. She yelled, "No kidding, it's your fault," and called me a few names I probably deserve. I won't repeat them here, but let's just say one started with sister and ended with a word I never thought she'd call me. Eric stepped forward and tried to calm her, but she rounded on him too. Don't. Just don't. She asked him to give us a minute alone. He looked reluctant to leave her in that state, but she insisted. So he went upstairs, and I was alone with her. June's anger then turned into this quiet, heartbroken monologue that I will never forget for as long as I live. Through tears, she said, "You were my best friend. I would have cut off my right arm before ever hurting you like this. How could you do this to me? To us?" I had no answer except more apologies. I told her I never meant for it to happen, that I'd been struggling with feelings and that I tried to handle it by staying away, that it was never Eric's fault and I never wanted to come between them. She asked me how long I'd wanted him. I confessed haltingly that I realized it a few months ago and had been trying to squash it. She actually laughed at that, a bitter, disbelieving laugh. She said, "Squash it? By kissing him?" I tried to explain it was a moment of weakness, that I hated myself for it. She just shook her head, saying she couldn't even look at me. I inched closer, reaching out like I might hug her or touch her shoulder. She jerked back like I was poison. That hurt, but I get it. Then she said something that absolutely destroyed me. "I trusted you with him. I trusted you around him completely. You know how paranoid some wives get about other women? I used to brag that I had a sister I could always trust with my husband. That you were the one woman in the world I never had to worry about. God, I was stupid." I broke down sobbing. I begged her to believe that nothing ever happened before, that I never slept with him or anything remotely like that. She said she did believe that. Eric had apparently sworn up and down that it was an isolated one-time lapse and that he has zero feelings for me beyond platonic. "But," she said, "that doesn't make it okay. You still betrayed me. You betrayed us. You broke my heart." I kept saying sorry, and she finally just said, "Stop saying you're sorry. I know you're sorry. And I honestly don't care. It doesn't undo it." That shut me up. I asked if there was anything at all, I could do to make it right. She looked at me, and her expression I almost wished she'd still been yelling, or even slapped me. Instead, she just looked hollow and said, "I don't know if I'll ever want to see you again. Right now I need you to leave and give me space. A lot of space." My legs almost gave out hearing that, but I nodded. I told her I understood. I told her if she never wanted me in her life, heartbreaking as it was, I'd respect it. She just turned away as I left. I could hear her start sobbing again once I closed the door. I sat in my car outside her house for a long time because I was crying too hard to drive. Eventually, Eric came out and tapped on my window. My heart lurched. I wasn't sure if he was going to be angry or what, but he looked just sad. I rolled down the window, and all I could say was, "I'm sorry." He said quietly, "I know. I'm sorry too. But you should go now. I'll take care of her." I nodded. He walked back in, and I drove off, barely seeing through my tears. That was 2 days ago. I haven't heard from June since, and I don't expect to anytime soon. I did send one more text, just pouring out my apology and saying I love her. She didn't respond, which I expected. I think she'll eventually tell our parents some version of what happened, if she hasn't already. I'm dreading that. My mom will be crushed. Our whole family will feel this rift, and I'm the one who caused it. I've basically destroyed the relationship I cherished most in this world. And for what? A stupid, impossible crush. For what it's worth, I did start seeing a therapist yesterday. I figured if I don't get my head fixed now, I never will. I need to understand how to never let something like this happen again. How to deal with my guilt, and maybe, one day, forgive myself. Though I doubt I ever will fully. I certainly don't expect my sister to forgive me, and I won't push her. If she needs me gone from her life, I'll stay away. As for June and Eric, I don't know what will happen with them long term. She told me she wasn't sure she could trust him completely either, since he kept my issues hidden and didn't notice my feelings. He's been sleeping in the guest room, I heard. But she did say she knows logically he didn't initiate anything. I suspect they'll try to work through it. I hope they do. I want her to be happy, even if I'm not in the picture. This ending isn't neat or satisfying. It's a mess of my own making. I betrayed my sister, and I'm living with the consequences. I lost my best friend, and the only man I've ever truly fallen for in one fell swoop. And it's all on me. I don't know if I'll ever not hate myself for this. If anyone reading this is ever in a situation even remotely similar, please learn from my mistakes. Do not let it get this far. Crushes can be deadly when they turn into actions. I wish I had gotten help earlier, or cut myself out of their life before I did something unforgivable.